Hi guys, Coach Chron here, another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Today's lesson and what I want to talk about today, and please don't roll your eyes, is reading, guys. Reading is important, okay? Now, a lot of my followers are athletes, are business people, are very successful people already. A lot of my followers and people that listen to me, and I thank everyone for tuning in. I enjoy all the walks of life that get value out of these videos that I do. But a lot of you are still aspiring to be, to become great, to find your success, to find your true calling, to be a better version of you, right? And one of the things that I can say, no matter who you are, what you're doing, what you want to be, who you are now, anything, no matter where you are in life, guys, is reading is important, and reading can help you, right? I'm going to break it down into, I always like to try and do bullet points if I can, and I want to break it down into three things about why I think reading is so important. So first and foremost, a little background about me and, kind of why I read a lot and probably what cultivates this thinking in me that reading is so important. Besides the fact that in studying a lot of other successful people and listening to other successful people speak, they reference reading, right? And every very smart person I know, every very successful person, every leader that I know, that's a common saying. You've probably heard it. Any leader is a reader, right? Any great leader is a reader, something like that. But any great leader that I've ever met is a reader and a thinker, guys. So the three things here. Oh, I'm sorry, my background story. So when I was growing up, I had a long bus ride on the school bus to and from school every day, right? I had about a little over an hour to get there, and I was the very first person on the bus, and I was the very last person off the bus, because lucky for me, we lived right beside the school bus, the driver of the school bus. So we were the first one on the route, and so we had about an hour to actually get to school in the mornings, and then we were the very last ones off the bus every single day, guys. So a lot of people could look at that, and in today's world, people probably get a lot of phone time in, right? You're probably on your phone. I don't know what age people start giving phones to their kids and things like that. And I don't know how many of you have your own phones right now. A lot of you, majority of my audience has their own phone, right? But one of the things I talk about in other videos is don't get attached to that phone. Don't dive in too deep there. And make sure that if you are dived in and locked in, it's fine to play, guys, and it's fine to have fun. But remember your goals. Remember what you want to be in life. Remember what you're trying to be. Remember what it takes for you to feel successful and feel great about yourself, right? A lot of the other topics I've talked about, guys, remember these things. Remember what it takes for you to feel good. And I don't think playing, 2 hours, an hour straight of a game on your phone is going to make you feel good, right, when you get to school. If you instead maybe, used half of that hour to read a book, or to, read a book on your phone, on your iPad, on whatever, or do something constructive, or play even one of those brain games things that's going to stimulate your mind, right? Or use it to, track and list out your goals and tally things and make your plan for the next day, or whatever. You used it productively, right, in some way. You're going to feel a lot better when you get to school. So anyways, that's my background story. I decided what I wanted to do was, I came from a background I didn't have a lot, so reading was kind of a good escape for me to travel way off to different worlds that I never thought I could ever make it to in real life. Now as I've gotten older and I've went out and done so many things in my life, I've experienced a lot of things that I never thought I would be able to experience, and that's great, and that's the power of thinking and believing that you can, right? But when I was real young, before I kind of thought like this, and before I believed in all these things, and before I truly took life by the horns and directed it where I wanted it to go, I didn't think I could achieve a lot of these things. And so reading books was a way for me to travel to faraway places, to read about things, other people's lives and experiences that I didn't have in my life. So I got a good 2 hours of reading every day, guys, and it helped me so much when I was younger. I can't even explain it. And I think any of y'all that are a parent, anyone that has kids, or anyone that's babysit, or anyone that is already a good reader, already a reader, or likes to read a lot, I don't have to speak on the benefits that you'll get just from school and education in terms of being good in school, being better better prepared mentally and sharper, more on point when you're trying to learn new things, when you're learning new skills, when you're trying to memorize things like that. So the other three things that, finally to the main point here, the three things and why I think reading is so gosh darn important for everyone is, one is the power of imagination, guys. One is it allows you to imagine, just like I said in my story, it allowed me to travel places that I never had been to. It allowed me to get a glimpse of what China is like, of what faraway places look like and felt like and smelt like, how the people acted, things that happened there. It allowed me to go back in time in history and relive events and experiences and like take me to that place, right? And hear the dialogue that people were using and put me in that mode, right? So it allows you to experience these things in your mind, guys, and your mind is so powerful. I've said it many times. I say it all the time. Our minds are so powerful, and if we can imagine something, the difference between us imagining something and seeing something very clearly in our mind and us tangibly like achieving that or having that or holding that in our hand is not very big, right? It's a small little difference here. If you tell your mind enough, or if you have enough details and you give it enough information, it will truly believe that you were there, you have this, right? It's kind of getting off topic here, and I don't want to do that, so I'll get back on. But our minds are powerful, and imagination, guys. So if you read a lot, you're going to be more imaginative. You're not going to have a lot of problems, being creative, right? When you need to be creative, thinking about new things, different ways of doing things like that, right? And so it allows you to have a lot of experiences, whether you've got the time, whether you've got the money, no matter what your circumstances, life is. There's tons of free public libraries, tons of great books. You can do, at most libraries here, like I can go down to my public library and I don't even have to go there. I can get a bunch of ebooks, and I can just check them. I can get hundreds and hundreds, access to thousands of books, guys. Imagination, go anywhere you want. You want to read about a different country, you want to read about a different continent, you want to read about a different time in life, go read about it. You can experience it in your mind, guys. Second thing that it does for us is it allows us to think critically, right? It allows us to solve problems. This kind of ties in with imagination, but it's much, in my mind, it's very different than that. This is a direct problem-solving skill. It helps you think about things because when you read, your mind thinks about things. It reads plot lines. It thinks about different characters and like who did what and how did this potentially happen. There are stories, and every story has a story arc, right? And there's a protagonist and antagonist. There's some good guy and a bad guy, and there's some plot, and there's usually lots of drama and things going on, and there's usually either like a very happy ending or a very sad ending, but nonetheless, the events in between are what make it. And reading these things and experiencing these things in your mind, when you actually are faced with a situation in life that is even remotely similar to something you've read about, your mind can draw back upon that prior experience, that you read about and use things from that. And even if it's not similar, you guys have that in your archives, that when you're faced with a new experience, you just automatically think about it and have the ability to think creatively and think outside the box and problem solve and think about different viewpoints and different angles of things, right? Because when you read lots of books, that's what you're forced to do. You're constantly seeing things and reading things from different people's vantage points, right? So that's number two that it does, guys. Number one, it helps us be imaginative and stimulates our creativity. Number two, it helps us in problem solving and real life critical thinking skills, right? Which, again, I don't have to go into why that helps us in school, in university, and other areas like that, depending on your field, it can help you in business, or your career, whatever you're doing. But those two things. And then the last thing, guys, is reading helps us with our vocabulary, right? You want to be a great salesman, you want to be a great speaker, you want to be a great orator, you want to just do well on your spelling test, in school. Read a lot of books, guys. It's going to expand your vocabulary. And, the great thing about reading is, I'm always amazed sometimes when I come across words that a lot of other people don't know, and I know, And it's not because I sat down and like studied dictionaries or anything like that. It's because I read a lot of books, and when you read a lot of books, you come across lots of words that you don't, a lot of them, sometimes you don't know, right? When you start reading beyond like the level you're used to, right? When you're in 5th grade and you're reading 8th grade books, or you're in 8th grade and you're reading 12th grade books, whatever, when you're just reading whatever it is you like, you're inevitably going to come across words you don't know. And yet, even though you don't know it, even if you don't look it up in the dictionary, you're going to have an idea of what it means and make a best guess about what it means based on the content around it and the way it was presented to you, the way it was used in the book, guys. So it's going to help you tremendously. Not only just, guys, I'm not talking about just your vocabulary test at school here, right? I'm talking about you business leaders. I'm talking about the guys when you have to do a keynote speech in front of hundreds of people, or even when you just have to give a presentation to your board of directors, right? When you have to rally your team members to go do something for you, right? If you want to be able to speak well and you want to be able to put together great speeches and use words that come naturally to you and not sound forced, that's one thing that's quite annoying to me personally, and I think pretty much everyone really dislikes this. It's a real turnoff, is when you hear someone speaking and they're trying to use words that they clearly don't have a great grasp on, right? It's like they're intentionally trying to use this word to make themselves sound smart, or sound some other way that they want to try and present themselves, So don't do that, guys. If you just read a lot of books, you're going to have a great vocabulary, and your speech is going to be natural. You're going to talk about the thing that you want, and you're going to say the words that come naturally to you that you know, even if you don't know them 100%, right? And if you don't know them 100%, you want to double check, go ahead and look it up in the dictionary, right? Take the extra time to do it, and then piece that together with how you read it, and you'll be like, oh, okay, now I completely understand this word, right? I had a good idea of it, and then I looked it up in the dictionary to confirm my thinking, and I was either right or I was a lot of times you'll be, pretty much right, but now you know the actual definition, so you can use it even better in your speech, guys. So those are the 3 things, right? Imagination, and 2 is critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and 3 is our vocabulary, our speech, right? So those 3 things, guys. Be a great reader. Reading is important. Don't roll your eyes. Don't get distracted by that. Just set aside 20 minutes a day, an hour a week, whatever you can do, guys. Work it into your schedule. There's no magic number. Just do what's comfortable. I can tell you, I always try and read a set amount of pages each week. I don't get to it every week. I don't get to it every day necessarily, but I can tell you when I go a couple weeks and I didn't get my reading in, I don't feel as sharp mentally. I feel like I'm missing a little bit. I'm lagging a little bit, because when I'm reading, guys, I'm on top of it. I'm on point. I find myself, again, this critical thinking, problem solving. You're not going to notice it, especially if you're not reading now, and you probably won't even, may not even notice it once you start reading, but I guarantee you it's happening to you, guys. If you're reading a lot, you're going to be thinking critically a lot more, you're going to be solving problems a lot more, and you're just going to do it naturally, guys. It's going to come to you. So reading is important. Make it a point to do it. There's no set criteria on what you have to read. I have another thing, and on the website I talk about a lot of great books that I've read that have helped me, inspired me to be great in my life and really helped me in different areas of life. I'm not just one area here. Don't limit yourself, guys. Read about anything that excites you, anything you're interested about. The quickest way to get something done or become on board with something is to really dive into it and learn everything you can about it. Once you learn more and more about something, a lot of stuff on this life that we roll our eyes at and say is boring really isn't boring if we read a little bit about it, guys. Just have that open mind and go out there, read books that you want, and that'll help you on your way to success, guys. I guarantee you that. Thanks so much for joining in. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next time.